Hello and welcome back to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry and this is Finish Friday, where we see what we have all finished this week. I can't really say that I finished anything, but I did finish some blocks, some tasks, things like that. So I will go over with you what I've been doing. There's an obvious one behind me and we'll get to that in a minute. But I also want to say that at the end of this video, I'm going to pick the winners of the $15,000 giveaway. So there will be 3 winners from the commenters of that video of this past Monday. So stay tuned. We'll be announcing those winners. Don't jump to the end. Don't jump to the end. Let's see what we got going on here first. All right, so I actually have been working on Quilt As You Go, as you know from the Wednesday videos that I have. This past week's video was joining the squares together with sashing. And I have done that on 5 of mine so far. I should say 10 blocks. And you see the center, very center of this row here. That's what I did in Wednesday's video, showed you how to do that. And then I went ahead and did 5 of my pairs is what I did. So this will be a 4x4. So I need to join 2 of my pairs in this same way. So I'm getting closer to a finish on that. I did do a few more blocks. I think I need to make 2 more blocks. No. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2 and 2. I need to make 3 more blocks. That's what I need to make. So I did these 3, that not counting these 3. So this is coming along good. It's a lot of fun. It's really easy, and you can jump on now, really, to do this if you want to. There's time is not going to run out on a project like this. You're not going to get behind. I may make mine bigger too. So once I get the 4x4 done and all hooked together, then I'll decide if I want to add another row onto it or add more to the sides. That's kind of the beauty of it too. With a Quilt As You Go, you can add on to the bottom or the sides. So keep that in mind as you're making yours. If you decide you want to make it bigger, you can in midstream. So it's been a fun series, and like I say, you can just jump in on it anytime. I got some happy mail in I want to share, and then after that I'll show you what's going on with this quilt behind me. I received from a lovely subscriber named Mark a piece of wonderful artwork that he's done with embroidery and cherry wood fabrics. This is a crow, and as most of you know, I have an affinity for crows, and there's some gorgeous embroidery on there that he's done with his embroidery machine. This is awesome. I love this, and it matches my home very well, so I'm proud to display that. He sent me a note with some information I can share with you on this particular project. He says, well, he said something really sweet first. He said, I'm subscribed to 37 quilt-related YouTube channels, but there are only 2 that I watch every episode of. Lessons Learned and Dave's Craft Room. So shout out to Dave's Craft Room, and thank you so much, Mark, for putting me on the top of your list of YouTube channels to watch. That's quite a compliment. I really appreciate it. So here's what Mark said about this. He says, when I heard you mention your love of crows, I knew exactly how to say thank you. And he mentioned that he went to school in Indiana up in Terre Haute at ISU, but he lives in Washington, D.C. So he said, I pictured this crow flying from my home in D.C. west to your home in Indiana, and what he learned during the flight. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of neat. He mentioned that he used the design from Urban Threads oh, he mentioned 3 different ones he may have gotten it from. Either Urban Threads, OESD, or Embroidery Library. So you embroidery people out there looking for this crow, that's where he may have gotten it. I noticed right away that this is made from cherrywood fabrics, 100% cotton, small batch dyed fabric, which makes it extra special. And then he used Magnifico polyester from Superior Threads. He also mentions some of the battings and stabilizers he uses. If you need that information, just email me and I will have it for you. So thank you so much, Mark. I really treasure this. Very, very nice. The craft swap. I showed you on Monday that I had made the little zipper bag for my craft partner, and that is as far as I've gotten so far. I need to stitch up a couple more things for her. I received her package today, and I wanted to share with you what she sent me with the fabric that I sent her. So if you remember, the craft swap was that we each send each other a half a yard of fabric and a handful of embellishments. So it could be anything. So I sent her this fabric right here, and that is a Moda fabric. I want to say it's Robin Pickens, but it may not be. It's called Carolina Lilies. But she added some of this wonderful teal batik with it and made me an Ohio star because she is from Ohio. So she's representing here. She also made me, I actually mentioned in my Get to Know You questionnaire that I needed a thread catcher for my long arm, and she made me one with nice little pockets on the side. This little ribbon right here was one of the elements that I sent her as far as embellishments go, and then she has some very detailed little Ohio stars with 9 patch centers in them. So this is perfect. Love it. And then she also did a rope bowl. I had mentioned that too, that I like rope bowls, and that's a nice little crafty project you can do for someone. And she had never made one before, so bless her heart, she figured out how to make one. And not only that, but she used her embroidery machine to make a fabric bottom with a motif on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's in teal thread. It's like a little swirl pattern in there, and I think she did a great job. And she used one of the vintage buttons that I sent. So it's a really neat swap. This was one of the vintage buttons too, and then I had another one, but she didn't end up using it. But isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? I love that. All of this is gorgeous. And if you notice, her quilting that she did was on the embroidery machine too, so it turned out perfect. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. And I'm anxious to display this as well in my home or here in the she shed. I'm not sure. I think I might keep this one in the house because it goes so well with my decor. And so does this. Okay, so that is something that has come this past week. Okay, this is Letters Home is the pattern, and I'm using Anne of Green Gables fabric. I have finished, I think I showed you 3 of the blocks, and I have done 4 or 5 more blocks since. So I wanted to show you this one. This one I fussy cut. I fussy cut those little squares in the corner and also the flower in the center. Turned out good. I like it. I like it a lot. And then there's this one. Some of these have some very interesting layouts. You know, you have to kind of look at them a long time to see that, yes, indeed, they are in the correct position. There's another one. And then I have 2 more down here. That's one. And there's one more here. I love doing these. This is one of the most favorite projects I've done in a while. And then I also went ahead and did some of the 4 patches that it calls for. These aren't sewn to my blocks yet. They're just on the wall. But it's giving you an idea of how this is going to go together. Blue is wanting in. Come on in. Come on in. We're having a party. That's what I always say. Okay, so my question is what I'm planning to put around this center block here is this. This is what I planned on using. But I also mocked up this just to see, and if you would let me know in the comments which of these you prefer. And then this will also, there will be a dark thin border around this center section. A big square, just a narrow border out of this. So I think I made the right choice on that, but I just wanted to run that by you all and see what you think about that. It's just going to be these 4 pieces, and then also there will be some blocks here that are half square triangles, and it will go like the dark will be here inside of this part right here. So I think that's the right one for it, but you can tell me what you think down in the comments. So this is so much fun. I'm really enjoying this. And I do want to mention that I did work on Happy Days this week. I did get the large border fabrics out, and there was a lot of strip piecing that had to be done and then cutting, and I did some of that. And then there's also a 60-degree background triangle that goes in there, and I got all of those cut. So there's some applique that has to be done and whatnot, but I think the borders themselves are going to go together pretty quick. So I'm still going on Happy Days. We'll get there. All right, so I want to share what you have sent in this week as well, and I didn't get a whole lot, and that's why I'm including some other things today. But I got one from Diane, and she titled her email, "Another Top for Africa." She says, "Because I absolutely hate to throw out fabric, I have accumulated a lot of strings. What to do with them? My solution was to weave them together. I took a lightweight stabilizer to attach them to and wove vertical and horizontal strings. Then I used the serpentine stitch to attach them together." And I thought this was pretty genius, Diane. And it makes a beautiful scrappy quilt. And I zoomed in on the one square that has some dark pieces in it, where you can really see your serpentine stitch. And I think that's just gonna hold together just fine with your stabilizer and your stitches. That's plenty, of quilting on there and stabilization that you need. So that's a very interesting and innovative way to do that. I've not ever thought to do something like that. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll take some of my strings. I've got plenty too. They're actually, that bin is filling up of strings, so I need to try it. Maybe I'll try it on a test block. So thanks for that idea, and this will be a nice weighty quilt. Carla did a rag quilt, and she used some flannels and some maybe fleece and also some cuddle. She said it turned out really soft and snuggly, and this was her first ever rag quilt. And I asked her about the minky, because I've not seen minky in a rag quilt before, and she sent a close-up of how that is. She ragged it just like you would if it was fleece. So it doesn't ravel, but it still is soft like fleece would be. Very nice. That's a nice big one too. And then Kayleen has a finish. I think she sent 2 pillows. Yes. She says she hasn't done much quilting, but she has made a few envelope pillowcases, and she's going to talk about those here. The Starburst pillow, which is the first one with the yellow on it, was a paper pieced block that I made in a class, and since I know I will not have time to make an entire quilt, I decided to turn that block into an envelope pillowcase so that it could be a finished project instead of another whip. Good idea. And then the other one, the Hedgie, is called the Harriet the Hedgie, and it is a free pattern from Flamingo Toes, And she made the whole thing and realized she forgot to put the pink corners on. And she looked at it for a couple days and said there was nothing else to do but take it apart and put that pink in there, and she said she was glad she did that. I love these. So that one's pieced, or is it paper pieced? I'm not sure. Is it? Did she say? She said a pattern from Flamingo Toes. So if you're interested in that, go and see if that's a project you might want to do. Those turned out adorable, both of them. I love them. And see, I was talking the other day how, you know, we can support our local quilt shops by taking their classes. So if you see a class that you think you can take that class and you'll end up with something. And like Kayleen says here, there's no way she'd have time to paper piece an entire quilt of that. But she learned something, and, you know, she did finish a project by making it into a pillow. Great idea. So now the time has arrived. Let's go and pick our winners, our 15K winners. There will be 3 of them. Okay, me and Blue are here, and we're at the random comment picker. So hopefully you can see this. I put 10 seconds on there so that we can be sure and see the names. Here we go. All right. Deborah Breezy White, Sherry 3108, and Ingrid Tinsley 4141. There you are. Thanks so much for leaving your comments on this video and participating in this giveaway. So what I need for each of you to do now is go to the Lessons Learnt email, and that is lessonslearnt2021@gmail.com. And in that email, let me know that you are one of the 3 winners of the 15K giveaway. Tell me what your favorite color is and what kind of a notion that you would like to receive. If you don't care about any of those things, just say, send me whatever you have. All right, thanks, and we will see you next week on Finish It Friday, and also on Monday for Monday Quilt Chat. So stay tuned for more quilty fun here on Lessons Learnt. Have a great weekend. Bye.